A reading from the Gospel of Matthew. Jesus said, "Do not think that I've come to abolish the law or the prophets. I've come not to abolish, but to fulfill. For truly I tell you, until earth and heaven pass away, not one letter, not one stroke of a letter will pass from the law until all is accomplished. Therefore, whoever breaks one of the least of these commandments and teaches others to do the same will be called least in the kingdom of heaven. But whoever does them and teaches them will be called great in the kingdom of heaven." Jesus continues in his Sermon on the Mount, and this is a slightly confusing teaching. This is a collection of teachings, and they kind of stand alone. In this little segment, Jesus is really reminding or challenging people for the first time to understand that even though you see me doing things like healing on the Sabbath or eating food with unwashed hands, he seems to be breaking a lot of the laws that have been inherited and passed along by the people in his tradition, Jewish people. So this is a little bit confusing because Jesus is saying, I'm not here to break down any of the rules or the law or the prophets. I'm here to be the fulfillment of them. And indeed, there are many places where Jesus says Moses' law, the 10 Commandments say this, don't murder somebody, but I say to even speak in anger is to break that commandment. So he's often taking the law of Moses and raising the bar with it. So he seems to do both, right? He seems to be a little bit more serious and stricter about some of the law as he sees it and interprets it. And he also seems to sort of break the law. So this should signal us when Jesus says, I'm not here to cut corners or diss the law in any way. He said, I'm here to fulfill it. That should make us pay attention. If there's something, I think what Jesus is saying is that there's something that feels to you like I'm just saying the law doesn't matter, then you're not seeing or hearing what I'm saying correctly. He's telling us that he's dead serious about everything that's come before him in the religious tradition. He's come not to sweep it aside, but to fulfill it. Such an important message in this day and age, in our own day, where there is rising anti-Semitism. For us to understand Jesus, if we call ourselves Christians, we've got to love and understand as the fulfillment of the law, everything that has been given and laid a foundation for us as people of faith, people of God. Not in a way that is over and against or says, thank you very much, we'll take it from here, but understands us to be part of one Abrahamic faith, or several expressions of the Abrahamic faith, through which we are grateful to inherit all of this law and prophecy that Jesus points to. So as you and I follow in the way of Jesus of Nazareth, as we listen to his teachings, let it spark our curiosity. Are there things that we believe are rules of the religious community that we think, we can just set those aside? Or is Jesus encouraging us to a different understanding of those rules, as he did with the teachings on the Sabbath? He said that he says the essential teaching is right, but the interpretation could use some updating. The interpretation has gotten a bit off. We, as Episcopalians in particular, are often thinking in these terms. What is the core of the message? What is the core of the principle? What is the core of the law given us by our religious tradition? And what are the places where adaptation to local circumstances and evolving humanity, where do we find a way to reinterpret or to understand that law in our current context differently? So that's a lot to chew on for a weekday in the middle of Lent, but I hope that you will hear, if you hear nothing else today, hear that Jesus was serious about receiving, adhering to, and passing along the tradition of faith that he inherited. He exhorts his followers, he exhorts you and me to do the same. Blessed are you if you follow those commandments and listen to the prophets and let all of that shape your life. And Jesus invites us each and all to do the same. May God be with you. May God bless you and keep you this day and always. Amen.